Hello, fellow progressive leftists. I see you're watching PragerU videos. Haha, can you believe those guys? They're up there with Ben Shapiro, Dave Rubin, and Steven Crowder as the stupid people, unlike me, the intelligent leftist. I mean, I'm watching them because it's funny and it's very easy to debunk. It's very easy content, and it's Memorial Day, so I wanted to like kind of relax because I am very, very tired. Is that supposed to be sarcastic? Oh, it absolutely is. And if not, I'm sorry for reading it as it was, but I'm pretty sure it is because the politics tab on Twitch is very skewed to conservatives compared to the just chatting tab, which tends to have more left leaning people because less debating. Because lefties get their feelings hurt, but I'm not like other lefties. I'm big brained and big muscled and little emotioned. I'm like a fuck caveman, I guess. Caveman's still. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. I'm physically fit. I mean, I know, I know lefties get the rap of being like, when it comes to body positivity movement, being very obese people. But have you seen the average Republican? Yeah, 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 yeah. Lefties within my state at least tend to be pretty attractive. I mean, look at me. All right, that's enough feeling myself. That's enough messing around. It's new PragerU video time.
How important is free speech on a college campus? Here's what
Very
the Supreme Court said in 1957 in the landmark case Sweezy v. New Hampshire.
Sweezy.
Teachers and students must always remain free to inquire, otherwise, our civilization will stagnate and die. Inspiring words and true, which is why what's happening in American colleges and universities is so disturbing. A study conducted by the Association of American Colleges and Universities in 2010 revealed that only 30% of college seniors strongly agreed with the question, is it safe to hold unpopular positions on this campus?
Well, yeah, probably because I'm. Yeah, yeah. Why is the position unpopular? Maybe, maybe. Why is that position unpopular? What's the opinion? Maybe you should ask him that. If the if it's something like I believe this economic tax cut or this tax policy was is far better. If you're scared of getting beat up over that, yeah, maybe that's calm down. Maybe they need to calm down on your campus. If your unpopular opinion is that you know people of color are they deserve what they get in police brutality cases, yeah, maybe you should watch your back with that one. It's stuff like that. It's stuff like that. It's like when like a conservative gets banned off of, you know, conservative gets banned off of Twitter. It's always the case like, oh my god, I got banned for my conservative views. Oh no, did you get banned because you want smaller government? You want to well, no, 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 no. I didn't get banned for that. Oh, did you get banned because you pushed for private schools and charter schools over public schools? No, not that. Well, what'd you get banned for? Oh, you know what I got banned for. It's like, yeah, what the fuck? Just,
Worse, the study found that students' confidence that they can hold unpopular opinions declines from freshman to senior year. How can it be that at a place where speech should be the most free, the university, young people fear merely holding, to say nothing of actually expressing, unpopular opinions? The reason is that for decades now,
all right. I just saw the chat. I'm looking at you because yeah, I knew you were bullshitting this entire time. But if you're going to be an actual Putin apologist, fuck off. I don't care about like you being like just sarcastic and just doing your thing. If it's entertaining to you, it's entertaining to you, and it's getting me chaps. But yeah, the fucking Putin is Putler. Yeah, Putin is a dictator. Hitler comparisons, although not my favorite thing to do, are fine because they're both dictators. So fuck them both. If you have anything to say about Putin, go ahead. Go ahead. I'll gladly talk with you about that. Now where were we? I mean, he's not worse than Hitler, but he's still pretty bad. He's very bad actually. Quite bad. Extremely, one might say.
Unpopular opinions. The reason is that for decades now, students have been sent a clear message from their schools. Express dissenting opinions, violate political correctness, or even just criticize the administration at your peril. After working...
Well, yeah, it's a university. If you go up to the president of the university and say, fuck you, yeah, you're probably not going to be in good standing with the university. Which happens. It happens. Now I'm sounding like the Putin fanboy. Well, Putin hasn't implemented a Holocaust. However, he has created a one-party rule within his country. So, Putin's killed a lot of people. However, he did not start World War II. So, yeah. If we're just going to talk about we're going to rank on who's bad based off the number of people they killed, Putin is not as far up as Hitler, right to say.
For 12 years at the...
However, just because he's not as bad does not mean I like him. He still killed people, and I'd much rather see him dead, you know? I don't care about Putin. So, dude, I heard Russian ban Netflix and McDonald's. They're committing aggression towards LGBTQ people. A lot of Netflix employees are LGBTQ. McDonald's is the number one leftist profession that's up there with Hitler in a way. I mean, Russia's always had a hard stance on LGBTQ people for a long time. And, yeah. Again, I wouldn't say it's quite as bad as Hitler, considering they're not actively sending people to concentration camps by train, like Hitler did with LGBT people in Nazi Germany. However, the policies are still bad because they invoke violence and suppression and death towards a lot of LGBTQ people. So, yeah. Objectively, he's still not as bad. However, he's still bad. And again, I want to see him thrown out.
The Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, I have seen hundreds of examples of students in...
Okay. Like what if America at least allied with the Axis powers against the greater evil, which was Russia, because we have to make lesser evil choices like in elections. So I know it sounds bad to say this, but we could have made Hitler calm down. He took his side. No. Nazi Germany was absolutely the greater evil between them and the Soviet Union. And it's not because I'm a Soviet Union apologist. What they did within that country was absolutely appalling, and no one should back that up. However, Nazi Germany was on a warpath to conquer, kill, and implement their top-down authoritarian regime. Now, the Soviet Union was also trying to do that. However, they didn't do it quite the way Nazi Germany did. Nazi Germany went in, basically kicked in the door, and just shot everyone in the room and moved new people in. The Soviet Union's at least knocked. That's the way I like to put it. We would not have calmed Hitler down. Now, Hitler was a big fan of America, that's for sure. Because in Ukraine they have... No, see, here's the thing. I'll get to that one in a minute. But, no, we could not have calmed Hitler down because Hitler was not going to be satisfied by anything. He wanted, like, in the end, even if he wasn't going to see it, he wanted this instated world goal of the Aryan conquest of everyone in the world, including those in America. Now, he built a lot of his ideas off of what we did in America with our eugenics movements and our enslavement and our treatment of other people. But he still thought Germany was superior. And even though he was fine with sharing the world stage with America for the meantime, eventually his ideas, and you can see it in his more devout followers, was to conquer America as well, was to conquer England, France, all of Europe. Everyone he considered superior was still inferior compared to the Aryans. Even the Japanese. I promise you, if Hitler would have won, he would have immediately gone after Japan. I'm saying it's worth reconsidering opinions on Nazi Germany because some of them were open to LGBT. Again, just because you're racist doesn't mean that you're going to be homophobic. It can very easily lead into the other, like racism and anti-Semitism, but it doesn't mean you're going to be both. You can be one without the other and the other one without one. So, yeah. Some Nazis may not have been pro-gassing other people. That doesn't mean all of Nazi Germany. Like, the actual political party and the political entity and the war machine that it created would, was still... Oh, man, I'm trying to read and talk. It's very difficult. But in Ukraine, they have Nazis, and that's proof that you can have Nazis and other people live together as long as we have democracy, rights for the LGBT. In America, we have Nazis. I don't want them to see them in power because they can still remove people. Because the problem with Nazis, they don't like democracy. The problem with fascists is that democracy is a means to an end, and the end is them in power. Once they're in power, they will remove every right and every way you can criticize them. And it's what's happened with every fascist government that's been, and also every other authoritarian government. Because although the Soviet Union was communist, I would also argue that the Soviet Union was also very fascist. Because fascism doesn't exactly take into account economics. So there is that as well. No, I mean, ones in government with the swastikas and stuff, the people you call Nazis in America are just conservative, which are way worse than Nazis in a way because they're way more right-wing on economics and social issues. I mean, yes, they have Nazis in government. I would argue maybe we have some Nazis, although not technical full Nazis since they're not nationalist socialist parties. They do have a lot of beliefs. But that doesn't mean anything. Within America, a lot of people who are very anti-Semitic and are in government, and we have a lot of people who, are Semites in government. And those anti-Semitic people use every bit of time, effort, and power they can to get rid of those people. Like Ilhan Omar, she is Muslim. She believes in Islam and all that. And everyone who has a problem with Muslims tries to get her out. They spend all their time and their effort to get her out. Like we see in Ukraine, they're more accepting now. I mean, that still doesn't mean anything. Just because they're more accepting doesn't mean we should allow that to be there. Because they still have abhorrent policies that are still going to hurt more people than it would help. And that's the main issue. Just because they're like, oh, well, gay people are okay. I hate Milo Yiannopoulos because he's gay. Not because he's gay. Clip that. Clip it. Make me say that. No. I hate him because although he's gay, he proposes for a lot of policies that would hurt gay people, but more or less hurt a lot of people of color. So, yeah, there is that. He's still a very much ethno-nationalist in a lot of policies he pushes and a lot of the people he pals around with. But at the time, now he doesn't consider himself to be gay, but when he was gay, he was still pushing a lot of these policies. So, yeah, I guess he was technically a more accepting ethno-nationalist, but an ethno-nationalist still the same, and we should not outright that. You bought a Zelensky sex doll? Don't kink shame me. Do whatever you want. I fucking love the white Zelensky. I want to see more white Zelensky. That shit's funny as fuck. If you buy a white Zelensky sex doll, do whatever you want. I do not care. I was about to say, don't show me the sex doll, but I'm curious. I'm curious to what it looks like. Do I have a lot in my bank account right now? No idea. I absolutely have no idea.
Just criticize the administration at your peril.
Send whatever you can to Ukraine right now on stream to send a good message. No. No. I donate as much as I can, but I donate more locally because I can actually see where that money goes to and see the people it helps. I do run charity merch lines, so if you want to see any of that. So you're just a Putin apologist. No. I hate that man. But I have other concerns. One of them being I need to eat tomorrow. I need to pay the bills. I need to pay for school, gas. I need to basically be alive right now. And any spare income I do have goes to community outreach because I know where that's going. I can help that. There's a change.org petition to send Ukraine more weapons and money. Did you sign it? No, because it's change.org. Nothing. Those things never work. Not one change.org position has ever worked. It's literally just it's like you get 30 signatures. Oh, Putin's going to stop. No. He's the most progressive president of all time, but he's only sent... Okay. Technically, he's the only president, if that's his metric. If going by how progressive a president is, by sending money to Ukraine, he's technically the most progressive because he sent the most money to the Ukraine out of all other presidents. He's more progressive than George Washington. I don't think George Washington sent any money to the Ukraine. I can't stand Biden. We need someone who can send more of our money to other countries. You should vote for Trump then. He sent a lot of our money to other countries.
After working for 12 years at the Foundation for Individual Rights in Education, I have seen hundreds of examples of students in peril. Here are just a few.
Oh no, the word
At
peril fed on
Indiana
him.
University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, a student employee was found guilty of racial harassment for publicly reading a book that some of his fellow employees found offensive. The book was Notre Dame versus the Klan, and it was available in the school's library. It recounted and celebrated the defeat of the Ku Klux Klan when its members marched on Notre Dame in 1924. So what did the university find offensive? The photo on the book's cover. At the University of Delaware...
Okay, so I actually know that case. He just went into he was not reading it. He brought the book and went into like a, majority black space and just like held the cover. And he was like, book, look, Klan. Yeah, he was very caveman brain about it. So, yeah. Do I support Trump? No, I do not. Because his economic policies have only hurt the middle class and have raised the standard of living and have benefited really only the upper class. Oh boy, let's see what you got to say here. Ooh, oh, that's a long message. I'm going to be honest in my knowledge in world history. Fascism appealed to people because the Great Depression made people so desperate, and when they realized the fascist policies worked, the voters in those countries were ecstatic and became loyal to fascist parties. The reason Hitler was successful is because when you eliminate people from your country, you have more job openings, and when the government funds private businesses, they become successful. Now, is that wrong what they did? Yes. See, yeah, that is the thing. That is absolutely what happened. You're not wrong about that. Fascism, in a way, did help Germany, but it's a very bad way of doing it. It's like changing a tire. You can do it the right way or do it the wrong way. And either way, if you get the tire off, you get the tire off. The right way is like removing the, jacking it up, removing the lug nuts, taking the tire off, putting a new one on there, putting the nuts back on, lowering it. You're good to go, right? The other way is to take an angle grinder, cut around the nuts, pull off the tire, and then kind of sit with your decision, right? Because now the tire's off. There's just no way to get a new one on there. So, yeah. They both got the tire off. However, one went about it very wrong, and the other one kind of ensures a long-lasting policy. The other one is very quick, short-term policy. It doesn't really address anything in the future. Like, because apparently, if you just constantly tell people to fucking breed like crazy, like Nazi Germany did, jobs will be outsourced. There's going to be, not as many jobs, right? So, yeah, that would have been a huge bummer for Hitler because now the jobs are down. And eventually, the country would have gone into massive debt. It's both from their wars and all of that. Whenever one, because wars would be over and there wouldn't be a huge war economy. Two, after their, ensuing boom that they would have had if they were the only world power, they would still have been in massive debt just from having to fund all these private institutions for so fucking long. So it worked in the short term. It would have destroyed them in the long term if they did not get bombed and backed into the Stone Age. So, yeah. I saw some woman, a Karen, crying about how high baby formula prices. I told her to shut her white bitch up. Okay. And to realize she's not the center of the universe because although we're having record inflation and gas prices, Ukraine needs our help right now. Hey, maybe you should thank a lot of your Republican congressmen and representatives over the years. Your full fucking conservative party, because they're the ones that they were the ones who put in laws that did not allow trade with Europe for baby formula. And see, Europe's not having a baby formula shortage. Now, within our NAFTA sphere, we are. With Canada, we have a problem because they are also on a shortage. So, yeah, a more global trading policy would have pulled America out of this. But conservatives want a more domestic trading policy. So, yeah, that's someone's fault right there. Trump's just a copycat. Make America great again. That's Reagan. Appealing to white working class. That's Nixon. Also, just started his stream. Awesome. I'll catch into that after that. You tell him. Fucking white. Dude. Yeah, I know you're just doing this because you're just so... Again, this is your entertainment. But, yeah, I know for a fact you hate the gas prices and all of that. And you all think it's Biden and all of that because I'm not an idiot. I know you think all of this. So I can very easily debunk a lot of these problems. So this channel supports hate speech, apparently? No. See, because this guy doesn't actually believe the stuff he's saying. He's just trying to be a parody of leftists. So, yeah, no, I do not support it. But, hey, he probably actually does hate women. Conservatives tend to hate women, But let's hear him out. Let's hear what, because, yeah. Hey, armed with opinions, why don't you give me an actual opinion you hold instead of doing like this whole like self-parody of leftists. Why not? Come on, dude. Give me an actual unfiltered, full, actual, honest opinion you have. I will fully wait. This PragerU video can wait. We need more free stuff and to print money, and we need to give kids hormone. Hey. Through in chat very well. Anyone? Bro, I said give me your opinion. Your actual opinion. Stop being a parody of leftists. Come on. Come on. If you got balls, you do it. Come on. Come on. If you were come on. Come on. Do it. Fucking do it. Do it. No. I said give me your full opinion. Give me your full actual opinion. Give me something you actually believe. No jokes, no nothing. Give me an actual belief you hold. Come on. Come on. If you weren't scared, you'd do it. You weren't scared, you'd do it. Come on. Do it. Fucking do it. I'm getting bored waiting. Come on. Texas devoid of body language context. Yeah, I know, but he's doing it in such a deliberate way where you can fully understand what he's doing. Like at first it can throw people off, but dude, come on. Yeah, exactly. I want just to talk with you. I can't talk with you if you don't give me an actual opinion. I don't care how dog shit insane it is. Just give me one. Come on, give me an opinion. Come on. It can be anything. Any opinion. Come on. We need to get rid of all immigration law. Like laws to regulate immigration or laws that allow immigration. Those are two different things. If you get rid of both at the same time, I honestly have no idea what the fuck would happen. That'd be something. It'd be interesting. That's what it'd be. Bro, I said stop being a parody. Come on. Come on. Stop being a coward. Stop being a... Stop. Stop. You're too sexy. Don't be a coward. Come on. Literally. It's getting boring hearing you just being like this, like I said, this self-aggrandizing parody. Come on. I'm in the mood. I'm willing to hear your opinions out. Come on. Why not? Why not? Come on. Let's hash it out. Come on, bro. Let's hash it out. Let's talk through this. It's like therapy. Let's talk through this. Come on. If that's how therapy is, I don't know how it is. Probably because they actually see huge benefits from immigration, honestly. Because their school systems, since a lot of the people they're getting in go straight to work, there's no burden on taxpayers to give these kids education. It's literally just they get more people to work, and then it helps population. So yeah, probably that too. Honestly, probably a lot of people jump over that border to go get that free medicine. There we go. There's something I wanted to see. Well, Epstein didn't kill himself. That's not even an opinion. That's just true. He did not kill himself. There's only two genders. Antifa is a domestic terrorist group. BLM are the modern KKK. Trump was the best president of all time. Hillary Clinton would look stunning in an orange jumpsuit. All right, we can agree on Hillary Clinton looking great in an orange jumpsuit because fuck that bitch. Hold her accountable for the shit she's done in office, for all of her shit. Neither did McAfee. Oh no, he absolutely did not kill himself. But there being two genders, that's yeah, uh, yeah, that one's not true. Mainly because many other countries and cultures have had multiple genders, including Native Americans who have had 3 or 4 genders. A lot of cultures within India have had 3, 4, 5, and 6 genders. Uh, Now, if you want to say there's 2 sexes, yeah, there's mainly 2 sexes. Now, there's some intersex people that, you can count as a third sex or a spectrum of it, because there's that. You're either a man or a woman, or a man who thinks he's a woman, or a woman who thinks she's a man. That's still only 2. No, because gender is the expression and how society perceives you. It's like a t-shirt. That's considered unisex because both men and women wear it. However, a dress is considered woman because it's women wear it. So, like, clearly there is the existence of unisex stuff shows that there is leeway behind it. Exactly. Gender and sex are 2 different things. So how many genders are there according to you? Honestly, I don't really see it as much of there being a definitive number. To me, is an expression on how masculine and feminine you are. More masculine people, I guess that would be male, and more feminine people would be female. And of course, some people are way more masculine than others, and some people are way more feminine than others. So there's an infinite number? Well, I guess technically that's how spectrums work, right? But at the end, there's 2 endpoints, and in between, there's there's always infinite. It's like how there's infinite numbers between 1 and 0, kind of like that thing. As society perceives you, not as one perceives themselves. Well, I mean, they're one and the same, technically, versus self-actualization and actualization between other people. Dude, this is nonsense. You're either a man or a woman. Even if you're trans, you still pick one of the 2. Well, I mean, non-binary people are trans, and they don't pick either. I mean, yeah. So there's that. Like I said, it's a spectrum. It's like a woman with short hair, like clearly still a woman. However, she's got a masculine haircut, which doesn't put her as much as towards someone with longer hair. So, yeah. No, they aren't the same. Wait, what's the same? Non-binary. Hey, I want attention. Same goes for all the other made-up ones like Zimmons. Well, to be fair, I am not the biggest fan of neopronouns. I will still use them. I just I just have my own stuff to say about them, and I could go about that in a someone who's more robust to talk about it. But yeah, no, non-binary just means that it's like someone wearing shorts and a t-shirt. That's unisex, right? Women wear shorts and t-shirts. Men wear shorts and t-shirts. Neither of them are particularly gendered, so that's a perfect definition of like androgynous non-binary. My perception isn't affected by gender dysphoria or any other form of delusion. Well, no, your perception of yourself is also how you express yourself. Meanwhile, the reception of society, both of those go into a gender identity. You want people to see you as one way, and you want to express yourself as one way. Now, you kind of do want to do the other. However, it's 2 different processes. Like, you're not going to be outside in public all the time. However, within your own house, you can do one. You know what I mean? Like wearing a dress. You wear a dress because you want people to perceive you as female. However, you can do that within your own bedroom to feel female, despite no one, actively looking on you to get that, right? Like, they both go into gender identity. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand the point of this neo pronoun crap. Uh, I mean, it's just like people saying, it's like normal addressing, doctors, Mr., Mrs., stuff like that. It's just, realistically, there's no point to it. Like, there's no functional point to it other than language and, I guess, respect. Like, I personally don't see in a use to do that, but if people want that, I guess people want that. So if they want to be addressed, if they want their pronouns to be like that, sure. It's like people asking me, like, if they had a nickname in high school that they liked, they start going by that instead of their real name. Like, I'm not going to be like, no, 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 I'm gonna call you by your full name. I'm gonna call you by your government name. No, if they want, I'll call them by their fucking nickname. Who cares? Like, again, you probably get okay. See, this is why I don't like the left, because it's just airy fairy nonsense. Nothing about jobs. Green. Oh, okay. It's nothing about jobs, green dream, or whatever, or keeping our culture as good as it was for our parents' generation. The left doesn't even believe in borders or cops. I mean, the left is all about jobs. Like, you'd hear like unionization. You hear about making our our work culture better. However, righties don't tend to like that because that would cost them money and profits. So you're focused more on culture war stuff, which is fine if that's how you get into politics. I guess that's okay. It's not my cup of tea, but I'm willing to talk about it. And yeah, I guess this people on the left tend to let people do what more or less what they like. Meanwhile, our parents' cultures and uh, stuff wasn't as great as they make it out to be. They speak with a lot of nostalgia. Like, my dad did not have a great time, growing up. He lived very poor in a very poor place. So yeah, even though he says like, oh, it was the best time in American history, it was one of the worst for the county. Like, objectively, like, there was suffering. So yeah, there's that. Biden is bankrupting the country, that's for sure. Well, hey, you'll be glad to know that so was Trump, so was Obama, so was Bush, so was literally any president that was spending more tax money than we were earning. Literally, almost every single president has put our country further and further in debt than any other one. I think only one, and that was in the very beginning, kept us out of debt. So yeah. Not to mention, Biden's policies are more focused on long term versus Trump's, which is more focused on short term gains, which is why you see a bunch of shit with Biden more or less putting long term policies to decrease the deficit versus Trump, which was just to boost GDP, which he believed would decrease the deficit, although I don't think he was doing it for that reason. All right, now let's see. All I'm saying is Trump definitely was not the greatest president when it came to doing good for the country. Now, Biden, Jesus Christ, got me a med kit. I'm dying over here from inflation and gas prices. I don't like trickle-down economics because it doesn't work. As wealthy just retain money at the top because they are greedy. Now, Michael Dukakis, trickle-up economics? Now we're talking. Hell yeah, trickle up. Worst president of my lifetime, and I lived through George W. Bush. All right. Well, give me an actual specific policy, and we'll talk about it. Biden's cringe-topia? Fuck yeah, he is. Biden sucks. He just doesn't suck as much as Trump. A male-female retains as such regardless of any amount of makeup, cross-dressing, or even surgical pharmaceutical intervention. The only change that matters in terms of biology is destroying one's ability to procreate and cutting off your lineage from continuing. Well, yeah, that's all sex, though. That's not gender. Like, your sex would be your chromosomes, right? However, your gender is how you want society to perceive you. So, there's that. Trump didn't govern hard enough. There we go. Trump didn't govern hard enough, so I agree he made some mistakes not draining the swamp, cost him an election with how corrupt the voting system is. You think Biden is better than Trump? Objectively, yeah, I do. Trump caused a lot of harm for America and the world just with his economic policies alone, and I can get into that. Uh, but yeah, Trump didn't drain the swamp. He just expanded it because he just put more businessmen and politicians. Not to mention, there was no fraud for the election. The only thing people can make an argument, a solid argument, is mail-in voting. And even then, that makes no sense considering mail-in voting has been going on within America since America had voting. So, don't know what you're talking about with that one. Speaking of that, you want to see that funny? Hell yeah, send in the bush, goof. Yeah, there was no fraud. There wasn't. Every investigation has found no fraud, except for the ones within a bunch of blue states which have found fraud within red voting counties, which were for Trump. So yeah, specifically like the one in Nevada, the first one that opened up, they actually found more votes for Biden than the first time they counted, because they found some fraud within some very red voting districts. Biden big C now, and Pelosi isn't clamoring for mental fitness tests on the president like she did with Trump. Yeah, because he's a Democrat. Duh. Yeah, Biden is old and fucking rickety. What do you expect? However, Trump also had his moments too. So yeah, hold up. Let me do that real quick. Let me Yep. Oh. There you go. You should find your link. All right, now let's get back to the chat. There's always fraud. Yeah, but nowhere near the amounts of fraud that Republicans are claiming. There's always some here and there, but it's never like millions upon millions of votes. The election was secure, though. Like, look at the footage of Biden rallies and all of that. Almost no one was there, so expected to believe that Biden got more votes at all that time. Because keeping in mind this election was the most votes in American history, so Biden got all of those. Well, yeah, no one is a fan of Biden. No one particularly likes Biden. They just hated Trump. So voting blue wasn't a vote for Biden. Voting blue was a vote against Trump, which is why Biden didn't get any big support. And that's all because the DNC fucking sniped Bernie when they had the chance. Because if Bernie ran, you probably would have seen, more enthusiastic voters. However, you would have seen a lot more of the blue dog Democrats probably lean more to the right on that one. Yeah, they hated Trump, absolutely. More people voted for Biden because they just didn't want Trump again. That's exactly why I voted. I'm not a Biden fan, so I voted for Trump. I'm not a Trump fan, so I voted for Biden. I've been around long enough to know that shit was rigged. Come on. Okay, give me any bit of evidence. Come on. So liberals vote based on hate? Well, no, not liberals, but lefties. Like, more liberals voted for Biden, clearly. However, more lefties voted for Biden because not Trump. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah. This is due to Biden not encouraging turnout at his rallies. Also, he had the benefit of not being Trump. Yeah, also, COVID was a big player in why Biden rallies were also so very small. Because Trump was just like, it's fake. Just show up. So, yeah. The teenage gunman allegedly killed 10 people and injured multiple. Remark in Buffalo, this response mass shooting has been in stark contrast to other attacks. For example, Biden plans to visit Buffalo on Tuesday but refused to visit. Waukesha, Wisconsin, a man drove through a crowd injuring 10 people. Left his fine. Oh my God. Chat's moving. Well, yeah, what do you want the left to do? Ban cars? Like, for people who've been pushing for gun control for as long as they do, yeah, they're not going to push to ban cars. So, yeah, if we can't even do it with guns, something that's non-essential for making money, they're not going to do it for cars, which is essential for making money because workers got to get somewhere. Yeah, lefties do find Biden right wing. He's capitalist, so right wing. You know, lefties vote based on hate. Well, yeah, everyone votes based on hate. You vote because you either like the guy you're voting for or you don't like the guy you're voting for. Even if you don't like the guy you're voting for, you're voting for him because you don't like the other guy even more. Either way, the common denominator with that is you don't like the other guy. So yeah, lefties vote based on hate, liberals vote based on hate, conservatives vote based on hate, everyone based on hate to some degree. So lefties don't vote according to who they think has the best intentions for the country. I mean, I'm glad at least you admit it. Well, yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure Bernie was going to be the one to be the Democrat pick instead of Biden. More people would have been voting for him because they actually believed he was going to be the best. They voted for Biden instead because, well, Biden was the one on the ballot, but they voted because they thought he would at least be better than Trump. And so far, he has been, because a lot of our trade agreements with a lot of other countries that Trump cut out have been rebuilt. And with a, you know, now focus in renewable energy, we can have a far stronger domestic workforce, because now we can be producing domestic energy and redoing our infrastructure and basically kind of having like a soft New Deal kind of resurgence within the American economy. So, yeah. Yo, every single person votes to the lesser two evils. Exactly. Wait, you're into punk music but vote? Cringe. Well, yeah. What do either of those have anything to do with that? One doesn't say I can't do the other. In fact, one kind of encourages to do the other, because it says the punk music kind of is known for talking about getting politically active. So, what? And Johnny Rotten, the punk OG, is a Trump guy. He's not even the OG. The OG would be the people from the Stooges, people from MC5, and people from Death. And hey, I don't know much about the Stooges, but the people from MC5 and Death are not pro-Trump. So yeah. Plus, Johnny Rotten's British, so he's not even a person. The Kinks. Kinks were like proto-punk. I'll give you that. But also British, so cringe. MC5 and the Stooges were rock bands, same with Death. Sex Pistols were clearly something new enough to be considered punk. Proto-punk is what punk started as. The founders were MC5, Stooges, and Death. Even then, the Sex Pistols weren't even in the first wave of punk. They were in the British wave, which came after stuff like Blondie and the Ramones and everything else coming from New York. Can we put our differences aside and talk about life? Oh, I am fully fine with talking about punk. Nobody called the Stooges proto-punk back then. Yeah, no, but they were the ones who influenced the sound of punk far more than anyone else. Even more than Velvet Underground, so. That's why they're called proto-punk, as in before punk but leading into it. It's like Black Sabbath. Even though they're the founding metal band, they technically just played a heavier version of blues, you know? Dude, one of the guys from the Ramones was a Republican as well. Yeah, he was. But, that doesn't really change anything, because there were other bands than just the Ramones. The Ramones are just the ones people seem to remember nowadays. Like, there was Blondie, you know. Yeah, they were just rock bands. They were good, but applying a label like proto-punk retrospectively is just revisionist history to me. No, not even that, because they were the ones who, you know, set the groundwork for what a lot of punks did. They were DIY because they started a lot of it themselves. They, you know, booked a lot of their own concerts, specifically with MC5 and Death. Well, Death recorded themselves, you know, and the Stooges brought a lot of the attitude. So trying to discount their, you know, accomplishments to punk is just, that's more revisionist than anything. Really, we gotten to the point in society where any idiot that breathes is allowed to vote without any regard by their ability to make national decisions, research, or anything for themselves, as opposed to just parroting what their preferred talking points and tell them to think. Political parties should be abolished. I do think political parties should be abolished. I'll agree with you on that. But I think everyone has the right to vote, because who dictates who can and can't vote is just a bad idea. No, not all of them. But Johnny Ramone for sure. He was the most outspoken. But no, he was the only one who was like registered Republican. The others tended to stray apolitical. The Ramones were conservative but lived like... I mean, they weren't even technically really conservative. I think you could paint them more as a flavor of libertarian, because, you know, they were more like personal freedom but liked economic policies of the right. So, yeah. Ooh, another link? Awesome. You'll have to whisper it to me, because links don't go up in chat. Yeah, I don't control the links in chat. That's not me. Let's see. Whoop. Twitter. Oh boy. Saying a lot of the OGs would have been Trump fans. Considering that a lot of the OGs were very avid against Trump, yeah, absolutely not. Because Trump was anti-establishment. Oh, Trump was anti-establishment. No, he was anti-people he didn't like. He was not anti-establishment. Because he just brought in more people who were already part of the establishment. He didn't do anything. Now, he spoke like a populist, but he absolutely was not one. Chris Cornell lies between Johnny's statue and the one actually killed by Alec Baldwin. I see that. That is weird. That is weird. Okay, let's see. Question: was the nation founded primarily as a republic or a democracy? Republic. We are. It was a republic because we based most of our democratic ideas off the Iroquois Confederacy, which was more of a republic than, an actual democracy. Yeah, we were never a true democracy. That's like people always equating that we got our democratic ideals from like Athens and all of that was just very, very false. Because they were more of a direct democracy. Meanwhile, the Iroquois Confederacy, which was literally right on the doorstep of the 13 colonies, had a lot more in common with our current day democracy than anything else, because it was a representative democracy rather than a direct one. She lies between the Ramones and... Why not be a full-on democracy? Well, a full-on democracy always has its problems, and so does a republic. Now, they never wrote explicitly why, but if you want to go off like why, you can look at Athens and the criticisms people had against that and probably infer, right? I mean, it's crazy. Yeah, right. Like being like between those, but that's just like weird. It's like one of those like crossroads in life. That's just like, what? But yeah, if you actually like go through early American history and like learn about like why we weren't a full direct democracy, Again, not a lot of stuff was actually written to criticize full direct on democracies, but also each colony fought for, like, the 13 colonies did not fight to exactly be one country per se. They all fought for each colony to be free, like its own autonomy. Like if Georgia and South Carolina were still going to be British, but all the other ones kept, all the other 11 were going to be free, they would have been completely fine with that, Here's one that's going to stir up debate. What do you think of Electoral College? Bullshit. Bullshit. It sucks. It sucks so hard. Land don't vote, baby. Land does not vote. And now we wait for the angry responses. I need to listen to Poison Idea. Bro, I listen to Poison Idea. Fucking pig sticker, rip. They spoke clearly as to why the nation was built as a republic instead of a democracy. Democracy is tyranny of mob rule, no better than any other form of tyranny. Who's Poison Idea? A killer band from Portland. Or they were a killer band. But, well, yeah, democracy is a tyranny of mob rule. And, voting is, that's like Portlandia. You know it, Fred Armisen, Mississippi hero. Even though he was only born here and didn't grow up here. But yeah, of course, that's like saying the majority oppresses the minority. Like, yeah. Yeah. I don't get the whole tyranny of mob rule because it's like saying, oh no, this is what most people want. Yeah. Now, some of the individual colonies were fighting for more of a direct response than more of a direct version of a democracy versus more of a direct version of democracy than the others. But eventually they all had to coalesce and agree on one idea. Also, thank you for following. Especially the Federalists versus the Anti-Federalists. The Anti-Federalists were more for more in line for direct democracy than a representative democracy than the Federalists were. So you get that. You have not raised your voice once. Hats off to you. Yeah, it's silly to get angry about anything like this unless it's just fully fucking entertaining, and then I'm gonna put a lot into it because might as well, right? Sent you a not so relevant link. Say most people want to kill you based off your beliefs, and that's fair, right? Well, no. I think that that would obviously be wrong. But for voting, for economic stuff, right? There should be, the majority should hold over it versus some representation. Now, with stuff like murder and stuff like that, yeah, no, I'm not a big fan of that, but I think that should be the checks and balances of the laws. And that's, saying majority gets rule also can coalesce at the same time as people having a right to life, Leftists do kill people for their beliefs sometimes. Just for fun, look up the Chaz shootings. Yeah, if you look up the Chaz shootings, you just see people abusing the fact that it was an autonomous zone, going in and trying to murder people. That had nothing to do with actual political beliefs. So have fun with that one. Just let the mob kill you is what the majority wants. They even voted for it. No. There should still be laws to say that it's wrong. Inalienable rights should still be a thing. The right to life, the right to not be murdered, that should still be a thing. Just because mob rule, most people want you dead, doesn't mean people should die. They can repeal no, they can't. It's just how the voting system would be. Under a pure democracy, the voting It's just voting system. It has nothing to do with inalienable rights. That's something that you can add on. Well, you have to admit the Chaz thing was a leftist disaster, not the right wing's fault on that one. I mean, it wasn't even a disaster. Like, it was just a thing that existed for like a little bit. Plus, there's been autonomous zones within America for a long times. So that it's not anything crazy. And what about like right wing basically cults? Like, what about like those weird right wing militia camps in Idaho? Yeah, those were weird, right? Yeah. I think most people that qualifies as a disaster. Plus, their community garden itself was a crime. Well, yeah, it was a crime to collect rainwater in Seattle. Yeah, it was a crime. But also, people went in there to kill others because then cops couldn't get them, which was just a bold assumption. That's like crossing the border to Canada to kill someone because that way you wouldn't be arrested in America. Or doing that in Mexico. That's like saying Mexico's a disaster because people do that. And people do that. So, yeah. The left doesn't believe in unalienable rights. They hate the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. No, they don't. No, actually, that's been the foundation for a lot of leftist politics, was inalienable rights. The inalienable right to, like, healthcare being one of them. That's something that a lot of modern lefties like. Or the inalienable right to have a fair, treated working life, equal, pay and all of that. Yeah, and inalienable rights are like a foundation to leftist thought in general. It's a continuation of the Enlightenment, Of course, the majority isn't always right, but an electoral college does the terrible job it was supposed to fix. Exactly. Oh, shit, does the closing argument already happen? Oh, fuck. Ah, dude.
Hello, Discover Card
Hey,
here.
shut the fuck up, Discover Card. You seem hesitant to denounce the excesses of your side, tribalism on full display. I get it. You don't want to disparage your side, but at some point you might become their target since the left is prone to eating itself. No, I'm not even. No, I will fully denounce a lot of the actions on my side, except you just haven't brought up anything to denounce. Like, you brought up the Chaz zone and just you brought in stuff that didn't even really fully apply to just the Chad zone. Like, again, people go across the border to Mexico and kill people so they won't be caught in America. They do that in Canada, or probably have done that in Canada. I'm not sure. I don't know about that many cases that's happened there, but it's absolutely happened in Mexico. People send money off to Switzerland and the Caribbean so they don't get taxed in America. Like, borders cause these problems, dude. So if your problem is with borders, say your problem is with borders. Discover card, get one? I should get one, Left constantly pushes for selective censorship in opposition to the First Amendment. Actually, so does the right. So you don't have an argument there. Eugene Debs, the first full technical restriction of the First Amendment was actually a conservative government censoring a leftist citizen. Eugene Debs, we know about that one. So that's the one that's really opened it up. Not to mention a lot of stuff we're dealing with now with the Patriot Act. Again, conservatives and Republicans. So, yeah. The whole thing, the left speaks, they don't want government censorship. They want community outrage to censor. That's different than wanting the government to do it. And the same for the Second Amendment. Again, lefties love the Second Amendment. However, they want stuff to work a little different. You're thinking of like liberals. Liberals don't really like the Second Amendment too much, nor do the conservatives. If you go off the NRA, NRA hates having people armed because, of course, it's the fucking NRA. But yeah, no, leftists love like the Second Amendment. However, we want a system we want like gun culture within America to operate a little bit differently, because that's led to a lot of problems. Like you always see Republicans on Facebook bring up the how Switzerland has a lot of guns, however, it's no mass shooting, therefore it's a culture problem. Absolutely, it is a culture problem, but also they also have a lot more community-based stuff within Switzerland. Like they can't keep like certain amounts of ammo with them, and they can't like put them together, stuff like that. Like there's a lot of regulations. Exactly, like Sweden. Like all kinds of stuff like that is different. The culture around it is different. Now liberals will argue for like more restrictions and stuff like that. However, leftists argue for more of a different attitude around guns. That's more or less the difference right there. Population of Sweden is small, and that doesn't mean anything. People always talk about like a small population, like oh, we can't base it off this country because the population's small. Well, you can, because America is also several countries within a country, basically, with small states. Like you tell me we couldn't implement something like that in Wyoming and then grow from there? And that's how we're doing weed. Like America has plans to do something like that. Has Switzerland and Sweden had terrorists? Yes. Less, obviously, but they also invade a lot less people and give terrorists a lot less money. So, yeah, there's a lot like that. I respect Sweden's gun measure. They rarely have shootings and gun related crime, and they're open carry. Exactly. Like I like the Swedish version of gun control. I would like some modifications to it, but ultimately I like Sweden stance on it. Sweden also has everyone take part in serving in their military, which is where they receive firearms. Yeah, that is one of the things I would change. I think to own a gun, you would need a license, which would require training, a lot like hunting licenses or driver's licenses. Except maybe we should make it a little bit harder. That's one of the things I would modify. That way you're trained, you know how to use a gun and stuff like that. Because to me, it's a little ridiculous that someone can buy a gun and not know how to use it, but they can't use that gun hunting because they failed a test because they don't know how many ducks you can kill in a day. You know what I mean? Exactly. Like training people how to use a gun. It doesn't have to necessarily be military training, but enough to where they're disciplined with it. Which also would be great, because a lot of people who are like pro Second Amendment always talk about how you need it as a defense for tyranny. Well, hey, what's a great way to defend against tyranny than being fully trained in the firearm you own? Wouldn't that be great? No, it really doesn't. Because, hey, I'm pretty sure if you expanded Sweden's population to the size of America and their landmass, they would still operate the same way because they operate very similarly to America. They have, they don't call them states. I don't know what they call them, but they have basically what are states there. And those states have laws, and those laws report to the federal law, and the federal law, yeah. We can do the same thing here. It would just take a little bit more time and a lot of effort, but yeah, it can happen. It doesn't mean anything like just because the population's small. Then it doesn't really mean anything. Break it down at a local level. Of course, it can't be real, but everyone divided on such an issue. Sweden is not bordered to Mexico, and what does that have to do with anything? You think Mexico is just going to invade America? And Cuba? Oh my God, is Cuba going to invade? What's that mean? Let's see. I really want to see these closing arguments. but I will do that. That'll be the cap off to the stream, is these closing arguments. Sweden is insulated. Well, I'll give you that. Sweden is more insulated in the fact that they haven't funded terrorist groups like we have, which bites us in the butt. They haven't invaded as many people, which has kept Sweden pretty favorably on a lot of people's side. So I'll give you that one. I'll give you that. However, they don't face a lot of external terrorism. They do face a lot of internal terrorism, same way we do. So, yeah, there's that. So I'll give you that one, kinda. Like, I didn't fully give it to you, but I'm giving you a little bit. So did you send me like the actual closing arguments, or is this just a segment of them? Segment. Okay. Okay. When is the trial supposed to end? Johnny Depp. Ooh, verdict. These are all what ifs. Population size, land size, and the topography of the land make all the difference. Why does Sweden enforce their entire population into the military service? Why does Israel? It's due to the reality of their size by comparison to the threat of attack from invasion of neighboring countries. And ends in a day or two. Okay. Well, yeah, I will give you that. Especially like population size and like geography of the land, because if you're very rural, it's much harder to enforce those laws. In America, it is very rural. However, with our all-encompassing law enforcement systems, we have one of the best ones that successfully monitors and does all of this very well for the population. Yeah, no, that's not what matters. It's how well does the government actually reach their people. And yeah, America does that job pretty well compared to a lot of like other countries, especially like within our side of the world, Of course, there will always be outliers, but hey, if you can get like 75% of the population to follow by these laws, that would still be a dramatic decrease. And as time goes on, more and more people are going to fall in line with those new laws anyways. I mean, it's happened with literally every other law, like moonshining. You know how that was like illegal for a while, but then once alcohol became legal, then moonshining fell out of practice from like the majority of the population that was doing it. Although there were still like stubborn people who were doing it, it still fell out of fashion, as time went on. Simple, we make the IRS the head of enforcing gun measures. Yeah, exactly. See, we do have a very robust system in place to do shit like that. If the fucking IRS, if they can get you for like 2 pennies, I imagine they could get you on a gun, on a gun license. We have one of the best and worst systems. No, but the thing with the population size is just it's going to take longer. But hey, just because it takes longer doesn't mean it's not worth doing. That's like, fuck. Feeding 30 people over feeding 5 is going to take longer. I guess I just shouldn't feed these 30 people. Yeah. Government is always watching. Isn't that the truth? And I hate it. I hate it so much. Fucking Fed boys. So is man watching you from the screen? Yeah. Me.